Okay, I'm going to kick us off. Welcome everybody again. This is the Readiness and Adoption Committee of the GovAI Coalition. For those of you that might be new today, we talk about a variety of things in this meeting about preparing people to implement AI in terms of policy implementation, helping people support their implementation journey, and utilize the coalition's vast array of resources. Also, there's a big training and education upskilling wing of the service of the working group. So you'll be hearing a lot about that today as well. And we'll get some check-ins. Just really quickly, our agenda for today. We have a really small agenda today. No guest speakers or anything. We've had a rash of guest speakers lately. But today we're just moving through our welcome and introductions, and then we'll do our project updates. We'll have some time and space for any AI policy and adoption updates. And then if we have time, we'll get into some ongoing action items and give space for teams to do any breakouts if they want to discuss any of the specific project work in a breakout room. So that's where we're at today. And we only have a few project updates today. So I'm going to kick us into that. Jim, I've got you up first to talk about what's going on with AI and fire. So,
Oh, happy to. Welcome, Jim Brown, and retired division chief from Monterey, California Fire Department, and I lead the working group for the fire working group for GovAI. We had a meeting last week with our group. We meet once a month on Wednesday mornings, 9 o'clock Hawaii time, and that will stay even after the time change because Hawaii doesn't change time. So 9 o'clock Hawaii time, we meet, and on our last meeting, we introduced a new member who's actually a representative from NFPA who has a AI task group. So we discussed the mission at NFPA, and this gives us three of the four partners who we've been looking to bring together. And we have the International Association of Fire Chiefs, NFPA, and the next one is the accrediting agency, the Center for Public Safety Excellence. We're trying to get them involved. And the idea is to create a single unified message for the fire service. But in the meantime, we had a great discussion about the next lesson. Quick recap that the education that we're creating with the GovAI Coalition and the working group, we've partnered with Fire Engineering Training, and they are hosting the lessons through their learning management system. So lessons 1 through 3 are live. Lesson 4 is in process with fire engineering training. So they're putting it into their formatting and getting it ready to go live, hopefully by the end of the month. Lesson 5 is on note takers and knowledge management, and that one is in draft mode right now. The working group got it, and it is also in our SharePoint folder now. So for anybody in this group that has access to the SharePoint, please feel free to look at that. There's a lesson plan as well as a really quick PowerPoint in there if you want to glance through that. And just looking for any notes, things we can make it better before we ship it off to fire engineering training. So that's kind of where we're at as a group, continuing our mission, which is the response to promote the responsible use of AI in the fire service.
great. Thanks for that update, Jim. I know you've got 8 lessons, right? So have reached the halfway point. Is that right?
Yeah, there'll be 9 total, but the last lesson is just kind of hey, what do we see coming in the future? And by the time we finish the lesson, it'll be, hey, that's what happened yesterday. So the way AI keeps moving. But yeah, that's kind of the general plan. Now we're going to start digging into some. We've been really picking on what I call the low-hanging fruit so far, like how to use an LLM to help you write a policy, stuff like that. And now we're going to start digging into some more complex stuff. Maybe get into agents. We'll get where the feeling is of the group with that. But yeah, that's the plan. Thanks, Rich.
Great. You've been on the leading edge here for us and really doing some amazing things in terms of just building like a lot of strong content, but also leveraging several partners to sort of make this training as impactful, I think, and distributed as widely as possible for fire professionals. So I think it's a model we definitely want to use for a lot of our other trainings that we might choose to develop through the coalition. So just want to give you a strong shout out for that. Um, I noticed in your note you were talking about looking to expand the working group. Is there anybody, can anybody join? Are you looking for specific people or?
Anybody can join. It's great to have a public. We're focused on fire service, but it's always great to have a public viewpoint on what the fire service is doing. But right now we've got about 29 members, and what regular attendance is a core group of about 5 or 6 folks, and about 15 different note takers, which is great because it means
Yeah.
people are at least getting information. But we really need the one-on-one engagement is how we advance as a group. So.
Yeah, and I know Jim mentioned this, and Albert, I saw you shared it in the chat also, but a lot of this content really depends on getting eyes on it and getting any feedback back. So if you want to take a look at the content that Jim's built out for the lesson 5, and have any ideas or notes for him around the content, that would be great if people have energy and time to do that. So
Thank you.
thanks so much, Jim. Our other project group that has a update today is our upskilling group. And I'm not sure if Lon or Rick are checking in today, but I'll open the floor to either one of them if they're here.
Hey, Rich,
Hi,
I
Lon.
am here.
Great.
Would you like to bring up the slide?
Am I not sharing the slide deck?
I'm not seeing it.
I'm sorry. I thought I was sharing the slide deck this whole time. Let me do that. Okay. Sorry, Jim. I thought I was sharing that during your check-in also. So are we seeing it now?
I
Yes,
thought we
coming.
were just going with the light version.
Okay. Sorry about that. You said everything on here, but I'll send this. This will be sent around to everybody afterwards if they want to catch up on the slide deck. So
And Jim, sorry, just since you're still on, real quick, uh, I recall that there was some way to create a fire engineering account or fire engineering training account to access the training for free. Is there a specific link that someone needs to go to? Because when I click on that link for the training on fire engineering, it brings me to like a login that seems like I might need to pay. Is there a link that I can use to sign up for free?
Yeah, I was just digging in right now to grab
Oh,
the
perfect.
link because it is a special link that's just for GovAI related folks. Anybody can use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is for GovAI. So I'm trying to find that link and I'll throw it in the chat there too. But you do need to sign up within there to get into their learning management system. But all the content from GovAI is free.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, Jim. So yeah, Jim will drop the link for GovAI Coalition members to sign up for this particular training for free. And I mean, Jim and the team have done a fantastic job on this. Highly recommend if you have a fire department that is curious about this stuff, this is a great place for them to get started.
all right. Thank you, Albert. And Jim for sharing that link. We will move on to upskilling. Here you go, Lon. I think that's better.
Thanks, Rich.
You're welcome.
So very quickly, we did a poll for 4 questions, I think announced at our last meeting here as well. So we do have a double-digit response rate. And now the poll results are, just to summarize, not to go through all of the questions, of the 4 questions, but the one question about the type of AI-related roles, talent needed by our survey takers. Include top 2 roles are information security analysts, which is a technical and data role. And then secondly, might be surprising to some people, media and communication workers. All others is just a type as classified by the on-net codes. So all the takers said their organizations could use this roles. And besides these 2, there are about 10 other roles that also utilize AI-related skills. Pretty much over half of the takers also indicated the need of those roles. And moving on to just quickly some partner events. There's a Futures Summit. Speaking of talent needed, so this Future Summit in the Bay Area is indeed. I can post that URL.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, if that's what you're trying to do, Rich.
I have lost the presentation. Hold on just a second.
Yeah, not a problem. And I will post the Future Summit in the chat window here. And that's from the education sector and people who are interested in the talent growth and placement for their organizations, etc. And it's in the Bay Area. And Rick from our group has attended twice and highly recommends it. Moving on next to projects status and playbooks. Okay, so we have 4 initiatives. We'll just go through the 4 very quickly. And the playbooks side, one is on track to be launched GovAI Coalition wide at the end of this month. And subsequent releases also are on track for March and then for April. On the certification side, one of the questions in the poll also is about this, because the working group members said, hey, there are so many different focus or goals or types of certifications. So which role do we want to focus on first? And do we make that decision just based on our own guess, or we should also listen to what really is the actual need from our group? So hence the question. And out of 3 potential certifications, the one more general called Certified Civic AI Professionals got picked as the number 1, followed by, secondly, Civic AI Leaders. And then in the 3rd place, Civic AI Implementers. So the ratio is that 90% of the poll takers voted for the first one, and then 70% for the second one, and 40% for the third type.
Great. And Lon, just a really quick question about that. Can you explain who's included in AI implementers? Just so.
Yeah, of course. AI implementers include, say, if any organization has an idea to implement some AI-related functionalities or applications in their organization, then they probably want AI implementers who can cover. We use a agile methodology, so I use those words. So the roles can include Scrum Masters, can include product owners, which traditionally the business analysts who give you the requirements, and then the developers. So those kinds of roles.
Got it. Okay. That's what I was thinking, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah. And then for the 3rd initiative, collaborative program, so we finally now have moved ahead with the strong support from a partner, Scout OS, So in basically days, the team is able to get the GovAI AMA Ask Me Anything application MVP done. And so we're going to send the email out to the whole working group so that they can pretty much just use the application website to ask anything about GovAI content. So whatever is included in the data sources, therefore now can get very trusted answers back. So that is already done. This is a much faster development time to market, basically, than previously our effort using the Google Cloud platform. And the second aspect of the collaborative program is to get interns for Jeffco, Jefferson County in Colorado, late spring and summertime. So that is progressing along very well. And for now, we are getting a intern to work with Jefferson County on their AI applications without any payment because we have funding elsewhere. And the fourth initiative in the working group is the performance metrics. So Jefferson County has done this before, and Stephen Hill shared what they have done, the full set of their survey questions and the results out of it as the first phase, which is pretty helpful for any government agencies who also want to implement such surveys to assess their training performance efforts. And so Stephen also shared that next step is to share automated tools to track the performance. And so our next working group meeting on March the 2nd, he will also present what they have been doing in Microsoft Purview. So that's our updates so far. And as always, we also welcome people to join us. There are several ways to engage with us, and I'll share the links in the chat window afterwards. Back to you, Rich.
Great, thanks, Lon. And just another follow-up similar to Jim's, if people are interested in joining, what do you need support on? And
Rich, sorry, is that question for me?
yeah, just like if you're, like you said, people are welcome to join. Are you looking, can anybody join, or what do you anticipate they might be doing if they wanted to join?
Oh, yes. For them to join, it's either that they have some initiatives they wanted to learn from other best practices in terms of training, in terms of getting people to start some AI initiatives of their own, or they have had some experience. So now they wanted to work together, like in Jefferson County's example. So they have done some themselves. And
Yeah.
so they join with the working group so that they can share along the way, as well as getting some people from the working group to be able to enable them to move along faster. So any of such cases. And in terms of the people's roles, they can come from local governments or educational sectors, nonprofits, or the private sector.
Great. Thanks, Lon. That's helpful. And I love that you're using that as a place for people who have implemented solutions to come and talk about that and some of the best practices and share that with the working group and then ultimately with the committee, the larger committee. So, anything else? Any questions for upskilling or anything that's happening in this world that people have while Lon is here? Okay. Not seeing anything, but encourage you to join and attend their meetings and see what they've got. So many great things going on. They're really moving a lot of different projects forward. Very exciting always to see what's happening with this group. So I know they are very good at absorbing people and figuring out things that they can do to help and move initiatives forward and create new initiatives. So really encourage you to check out their meeting as you can. I put this on here. I think, Dan, you said you didn't have an update, but I wanted to throw out to any of our other project groups. I don't know if Maddie or Quinn are here today. But if there's any other of our project groups that have anything to check in about, just wanted to give you space. If I didn't hear from you through email, I'll just open it for a few seconds to see if anybody wants to raise their hand and share. I'm suspecting not. Okay. I'm gonna turn over to my co-chair here, Sahar Noor from City of Detroit. She does the AI policy work here and the one-on-one meetings. And Sahar, I don't know if you wanted to check in and talk about this and anything else that's going on in the policy space.
It's been hi, Rich. Thank you. Thank you for giving it to me. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me open this for folks, see if anybody has any questions in general for policy or adoption or anything. I know we are good into the implementation or using AI tools already, maybe. So, but this is more so for folks that are uh, still getting ready to get started and want any information or details about how to get started or what wonderful resources we have at the AI Coalition that you can utilize. So let me pause here for a second and see if anybody has any questions on how to get started, or if you are not familiar with the workspace with GovAI Coalition resources and templates.
Hello, my name is Brandon Webb. I'm the Lane ESD CIO, and we're a service district in Oregon. And I was introduced to this group by a friend that is the security manager at the city of Santa Cruz. And education, as usual, especially K-12, is running behind. And so I'm looking to get up to speed as fast as I can. We have done nothing in my agency. I know largely that the assisting districts that I serve are using AI, but nothing, no formal programs has been rolled out. So any and all information that I can get would be really helpful.
Hey, Brandon, thank you. Thank you for your question and welcome. Appreciate you getting here. And I, first of all, have you been to the GovAI Coalition website for templates and how to get started?
I have not.
Okay, we can post a link here. I'm assuming you're already a member, but
Yes.
if not, okay, great. So there's the location that we can post here in the chat, or we'll send you even after this. there's a bunch of templates that, oh, thank you so much, Albert. I always admire how you are on top of everything. So thank you for sharing that in the chat. So there is a getting started. There is 0 to 90 days, you know, path, a suggested path of how you can get started, you know, what it might look like based on your organization size and different, the IT maturity and technology maturity and all that. It'll give you suggestions of who you can involve, how you can get started, and how to implement. So after reviewing that and the templates, the path, everything, if it sounds like if you're inundated or you would still need some kind of I don't know, maybe human touch or like some examples of how this can actually be done after reviewing that, then certainly you can book some time with me and reach out to me and I can help more in that, you know. But that would be a good place to start.
This is amazing. Thank you. I think just to keep from taking advantage of your generosity, I'd take a look at this and get as far as I possibly can. And maybe I could shoot you some of the work that I come up with and see if I'm on the right track, if that'd be okay with you.
Absolutely, Brandon. And the reason I also say ask you or request anybody reaching out to review the material is because it can save. I'm not looking at just my, I mean, of course, it saves time for everybody, but it'll help. It'll help the conversation to be more productive in like, oh, you know, what is even a policy? What do I where do I get started? What does it look like? Does somebody already have that? How can it benefit me and things like that? Oh, how do I prepare? What's my risk assessment? Things there's so many things like or if the vendor is giving you a solution with AI component, how do you prepare? How do you protect your organization or some of the things to watch out for? Or if there are use cases of you know, somebody who's already doing that or the data governance and all that, that's somewhat more mature, but the basic stuff is there. So if you go through that, it'll help you at least formulate you know, the actual nitty gritties of it, and then the conversation could be more productive is what I mean.
Looks great. Thank you very much.
Of course. Anybody else like Brandon who would want more help or information? Oh, Tracy.
I
Am I saying
see
it?
Yeah,
Trace has his.
I have a quick question, and it's fine if we take it offline, but I'm curious to know if you all or if anyone has implemented some sort of citizen opt-out form or some sort of opt-out related to AI that a citizen wants to opt out of being of having their data part of any sort of AI system at all.
Generally, I will see what I can give, and then I'll let Albert and others chime in here. But when you say citizen opt out, generally it's not a good idea to have any PII or any particular username based information available for vendors to use that as a training data or crunch the actual names and identifiers and do anything like that. So in general, anyway, that is not recommended, or that's you know that one should be careful about. But if you are already using with I don't know how, but like are you looking at like specifically opting out?
So we're not that far along, but certainly within the policy and city ordinance that I'm developing, um, having citizen or customer data is definitely in there as not
Ah,
allowed. that that would go through and be caught during the process of submitting a use case. So certainly our approach is not allowing that to happen, correct? So I'm thinking more longer term of when we get to a situation where we are starting to be more transparent as a city of all the different types of use cases that we have. And when we get to a point that we have a use case that is looking at a conglomerate of citywide data for city services, the question is going to come up inevitably: is any of my information or data being used, as a whole in coming up with, different types of analysis of data that the city is using? So this is very much, a theoretical question more than anything, but I'm just trying to get an understanding and idea of others who maybe are starting to think about citizens wanting to opt out, or any discussion of that. Because in looking through and considering different templates and policies and procedures and things that I'm researching, occasionally I'll see something come out about opting in and opting out, and I'm just curious as to anyone who has really started to work through any of that.
Yeah, that's great. I don't know if you're looking at the chat. This good information posted by Albert here on some of the opt-outs
Great.
in the link shared. So maybe that. And then I have a couple hands raised. I don't know the order, but I see Kate raised your hand. Was there
Yeah,
someone else before? Go
I
ahead.
don't know. I don't know if someone was before me.
That's okay.
Um,
That's okay. Get started, and then we
so
can.
not necessarily opt out, but in the same vein, mayor and council, I'm in the city of Tucson, motioned in October to have a citizen commission board. And so I am responsible for presenting to the citizen commission board high risk use cases, primarily that the police department are utilizing with AI and advanced technologies. This citizen commission board doesn't have authority to modify per se the pilots that we are planning to implement, but they do have a say. They can raise concerns, questions, comments that I then need to bring back to our assistant city manager, which I'm sure would then be escalated to mayor and council if those concerns, are raising flags. So that's one way that we are actively engaging the community with higher risk use cases. I just wanted to share.
Thank you so much, Kate. Uh, I don't know who else had their hand raised. I can't see it anymore. Does anyone else have any other question? No, then Albert, do you want to add anything to that question, or besides what you shared?
Trace, just on that, yeah, take a look. Los Altos Hills is probably is one of the few places where I've seen they've put into production an effort for some type of opt out. If I haven't spoken to them personally, but Trace, if you learn something from them, I think that would be very valuable information. Maybe even if we can try and get them on one of these calls, because I'd be really curious to learn about how that's been working for them. I know they've been doing it for a couple years now.
Sure, will do. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And I'll just echo what Kate said. For a lot of agencies, San Jose, right there alongside Tucson, is we've got a advisory board. Basically, some folks that have kindly volunteered their time quarterly to weigh in on how we're approaching some of our technology. I think, you know, a continued effort or a series, trying to find the right people to engage in the public can be hard. And I think some of those advisory boards can often be a good place to find those that are willing and patient enough to provide that input.
Thank you, Albert. Thank you, everyone. Any other questions that we can address at this time? Well, I guess back to you, Rich.
All right, thanks. That was very interesting. I'm curious to see how the opt-out issue proceeds down the road. Those things tend to catch a little bit. So if one agency starts building it, and others might start having that, and it might spiral a bit. So that'll be really interesting to see how that goes. So I'm fascinated by that whole concept. Um, Okay, so just our last thing that we do here at the end of the meetings is talk about, we've had all our project check-ins today and the policy piece by Sahar, but we also just sort of educate people about how they can get involved. So any committee members can volunteer to assist on these projects that you've heard talk about today or in previous meetings. That's how we keep things growing and building and releasing. So, you can help in a variety of ways. It can be even just drafting content, it can be helping build out PowerPoints, helping brainstorm or add some thought to the processes and the products that people are developing, and even connecting us with external organizations that can add some value and be partners for us. So there's a lot of different ways that you can contribute. Also, please reach out to me, Sahar, or even Albert if you want to like join one of these groups, or you have an idea of your own, you see something that's not being addressed by the working group. We'd love to hear new ideas and think about how that might be structured and delivered. And again, if you've built out anything, any practices, tools, trainings, it's great if you can share those back with this larger group, and we share those in the SharePoint so that people can have templates and draft items to start with, so they don't have to start from scratch. So for those of you that have access to the SharePoint, you can dive into the Readiness and Adoption Committee and all the subfolders there that have sample policies from agencies, sample trainings from agencies over the time since the committee's been in place. So really encourage you to continue to use those tools that are there and share any that you have with us. And then continue to register for attending the committee. If your meeting drops off, this is shared in the post meeting, but there's a link to keep continuing. If your meeting ever drops off or you find yourself not able to join, there's a way to sort of get in and register, and that's in the post meeting follow-up that I'll have for you. So I think that's everything for today. I knew we were going to have a bit of a shorter meeting today, but if any of the project teams need some time and space now to work on anything, I know upskilling's here. I don't know if you have any need for a breakout or want to do some work or get some feedback from myself or Albert Sahar on any of the stuff you're working on. But this is the time to do that if you need any space for that.
Hey, Rich, thanks for allowing a quick add in here regarding the upscaling working group. So now the AMA Ask Me Anything chatbot is available. I'm thinking that maybe Sahar or yourself, we could open it up for some people like yourself to give it a try, and then you can tell us whether you think it's helpful. One thing, I mean, ideally, we could open that up to everyone, but it is a free resource to us at this point. And if everyone is allowed to access it, then it may use up the workflows too much too quickly, therefore may render the rest of the month out of service. So I'm just mentioning to you whether you think maybe we just open it up to people like yourself, like
Yeah,
Sahar.
I'll echo what Albert put in the chat. If you just send it to me and Albert and to her for now, and we'll take a look
Okay.
at it, and then we'll think about what needs to happen to get it to wider distribution. So,
Okay,
but that's
great.
great. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I know you've been talking about it for a while. So,
Indeed.
I was wondering if I'm with the Port of Oakland. We're starting an AI working group, and I've been thinking about AI upskilling, like coming up with a training for people, maybe even kind of port wide, and wondering if you guys have materials you've already done that are available that I could use to help me think about putting this together.
we do have some initial content in our education folder, and we'll share a link to that with you. But there are some template decks for just sort of it, and there's a range of things there that's like getting started with AI. What is AI? Sort of like very early stage education around AI, but then also some dives into some specific tools like Chat GPT and prompting. And so there's some links and things in there that could be helpful that we'll send you the reference to. And our upskilling group is definitely working on some guidance around creating training programs. So like the first playbook that they're rolling out is getting started with training in your agency. So, that would be a really good resource for you maybe to look at this stage and sort of, to use as a template. The second one I think they're going to release is the um, rolling out a training program in your agency. And Lan, you can verify if I got the name of that right. But that's, they're building some resources around that with a lot of linked resources and research that they've done that point to specific instances that can help you build out your training program. So I think, there's a lot of great tools that we can provide to you for that. So
Awesome. Thank you.
yeah. And I'll have a link to that in the post-meeting follow-up too.
And, I'm new here. I was just wondering, like I saw you were talking about these upskilling certified civic AI professional. Is that a certification that's being developed, or is that something that exists? Or
It's a certification that's being developed by the GovAI Coalition. So that'll, the anticipated launch for that is towards the end of the year, but it's all being structured and built out now. So, we're going to start with that level, that professional level that you saw that she had sort of said was the ranked highest. But they're doing work on that. And, if you or anybody, your agency wants to be a part of that, and if you think it would help your efforts internally, they're sort of thinking about the curriculum and what that's going to look like, and then developing out the credentialing mechanism for the certification. So,
awesome. Thank you.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
And Rich, if I can just add one
absolutely.
little bit on there, Mark. So our upskilling working group, led by Lon and Rick, who I don't think Rick is on this call, and Stephen Hill, they've been doing some great work on this along with Marty, to put together the first playbook is going to focus on AI training, like getting started for training in your org. And Lon, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we're intending to get that released in the actually next Wednesday.
Next week.
So Mark, when we share that out, we would actually love to get some of your feedback because I think this is of trying to use it, because hopefully that can serve your needs, and also we can learn about if it's working or not.
Great. Yeah. How is it getting shared out through the website?
Yeah, we'll be uploading it through the website once next Wednesday. Yeah.
Great. All right. Thank you.
All right. And Kate, I see your hand is raised.
Yeah, I just wanted to share last Friday, I think it was Friday, yeah, the Department of Labor shared an AI literacy framework, and they are going to have a webinar for training. So I emailed them to hop on and see what that is all about. And so I'll share that in the chat as well.
Great, thank you. And Sage, I saw you shared something in the chat also. Did you want to talk to that?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi. Yeah, I mean, I'm just doing a lot of experimentation and research just for my own purposes,
Yeah.
and a lot of it's around writing and creating content, and because I'm building my own business and working with another developer and we're just trying to get out the word of what we're doing and kind of building in public type of thing. And so whatever I'm building for myself, trying to share it along the way. And so you guys are here. I figured I'd just share one of these notebooks with you guys. This is one of the ways that I study and practice and then share that information with the world or with my other colleagues and stuff. So, but basically, this notebook is about writing with AI and why, like why AI sounds like has certain types of patterns, like rhetoric and example, like using the word delve, 28 times more than it used to, based on research. A- and then how to undo that. Like basically, like what are the reasons it does that? And a lot of it has to do with reinforcement learning by human behavior, so RLHF. It's actually not as much as they were built. I mean, it is like a probabilistic. They are probabilistic, so there's some inherent biases towards like just kind of a regression towards the mean. But in addition to that, one of the big additions is actually the RLHF, and that's essentially because these large companies they're building these large language models to be safe, effective, and enjoyable for people to use, and and then and is like very knowledgeable and to help humans, but at the same time that is against being creative and writing, right? So so you have to figure out ways to get around that. But anyway, that's
Road Warrior General.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Hello?
Oh, maybe he's on I thought he was talking to me. I think he's on another line.
All right.
Anyway, it's some research that I found very useful for myself, and I just figured I'd share it. So if anyone wants to, I made it public. So how about it?
Great. Thank you so much for that. It's always great to get people's perspectives and thoughts about using AI, especially in a shareable format like that. So really appreciate you sharing your thinking and your research around that.
Yeah, and please provide feedback too, because I'm just one mind, and when I hear other angles and like, hey, why don't you do some research on this? Like, I'll go do that. So
Great. Thanks so much. Okay. Opening the floor for any last thoughts, anything that's come up for today before we move on, unless there's anything that people want to talk about. I'm going to take that as a no. Thanks everybody for your time today. Thanks all the project groups for your very hard work on all the initiatives going on right now. I'm very excited to see what happens with the launch of the playbook next week. So that's a great milestone for us, and also for all the great strong work that Jim has done with the fire training. So very exciting to see this momentum happening. So looking forward to hearing more. So thanks everybody for your time and space today.